Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are talking about fourth voyage of Gulliver's travels. Gulliver stays with his family for 5 months, then he starts his new journey. Members of the crew of this ship were pirates. They attack on Gulliver and put down him on the sea coast and leave him alone. Gulliver finds himself in a new country. First, he sees a filthy, detestable creature, Yahoos. They have physical resemblance with human beings. They attack on him, but suddenly he is saved by Houyhnhnms, a horse-like creature, but they can speak and are intelligent. The horses help Gulliver and make a suitable arrangements for his stay. This travel gives us a contrast picture of the life and the habits of Yahoos and the life and the habits of Houyhnhnms. The good qualities of the Houyhnhnms are depicted in such a way that Houyhnhnms become models for human beings. Friendship and benevolence are two principal virtues of them. The implication is that human beings should try to acquire these virtues. Human beings should learn control of population and spirit of cooperation from Houyhnhnms. One of the grand assemblies of Houyhnhnms was held during the period of Gulliver's stay in their country, about 3 months before his departure. The question is discussed at the assembly was whether Yahoos should be exterminated from the face of earth in view of the fact that the Yahoos were the most filthy, noisy, and detestable creature. The master of Yahoos decides that Houyhnhnms should cultivate the breed of asses who would in all respect prove more valuable than Yahoos. Gulliver has now developed a feeling of disgust for his fellow human beings, whom he also regards as Yahoos as Houyhnhnms do. In fact, when he happens to look at his own reflection in a lake or a fountain, he turns away his face in horror, and from a hatred of himself, he has developed so much hatred for his own race that he has begun to imitate the gait, gesture, and voice of Houyhnhnms. Gulliver makes a request to master of Houyhnhnms to keep him with his country. But the decision of Houyhnhnms is to expel Gulliver. The Houyhnhnms consider it beneath their dignity to allow Gulliver, a Yahoo, to continue to live among them identically. Gulliver leaves the land of Houyhnhnms without knowing where he is going. He touches a land after several weeks. He stays on the sea coast for 3 days because he was afraid of venturing far into this new country because he did not know what kind of people lived there. On the 4th day, he was attacked by a group of naked men and women with arrows. It was with great difficulty that he escaped from them. Gulliver now tried to sail away in his cone, and soon afterwards he saw a ship which picked him up from his cone. The sailors on the ship were Europeans, and they spoke to him in Portuguese. Gulliver replied to their questions in the tones and accents of Houyhnhnms, and they began to laugh at his way of speaking, which resembled the neighing of horse. On his part, Gulliver thought their manner of speaking to be monstrous, as if a dog or crow should speak in England. The captain of this Portuguese ship was a man called Prido de Mendes, who showed every possible courtesy to Gulliver. Gulliver was not at all happy to have come across people belonging to a race which he had begun to hate. In fact, he did not even wish to return to his own country, but the captain was bent upon taking him there. For a few weeks, the captain kept Gulliver in his own house and then took him to his family. Gulliver's family received him with great surprise and joy, but strange to say, Gulliver was filled only with hatred, disgust, and contempt on seeing them. After his stay with the Houyhnhnms, he had begun to hate the human race to such an extent that he could not tolerate the sight of even the members of his own family. Gulliver started writing an account of his travels and his strange experiences 5 years after his return to his country and his home. To the very day of his writing the present account, he has been talking with the horses for at least 4 hours every day. The attitude of hatred of Houyhnhnms towards Yahoos and the hatred which Gulliver has now developed towards his own people shows excessive cynicism and misanthropy of Jonathan Swift towards human beings. This part fourth explanation of Gulliver's travels is an angry denunciation of mankind. Here Gulliver gives expression of his misanthropy, which means hatred to human beings. Gulliver feels so furious with follies and the crimes of human beings that he condemns them wholesale, going to the extent of portraying the horses of Houyhnhnm's land as being far superior to human beings both mentally and morally. Of course, much of Gulliver's condemnation of human race here may safely be attributed to Swift himself. Yet we should not make the mistake of identifying Swift completely with Gulliver. Here, and especially towards the close of part fourth, where Gulliver expresses such a profound aversion to mankind, even to members of his own family, that he himself appears to have become a target of Swift's satire. In other words, while Swift is certainly to be regarded as a misanthrope on the basis of part 4, he is not a misanthrope of the extremist kind, which is represented by Gulliver at the close of his book. Thank you.